Welcome, everyone, to EDU 220, Teaching Young Children in Multicultural Classrooms, the fourth edition, by Wilma Robles de Melendez and Vesna Beck. This is your professor, Dr. Melanie Rodriguez, and we are going through our final week of this course and also the final two chapters, starting out with Chapter 9. Chapter 9, Activities and Resources for Multicultural Teaching, A World of Possibilities. And so before we dive into that chapter, I just want to thank each and every one of you for all of your hard work throughout this entire 6 weeks. I know that there has been a lot of reading and writing and researching and applying, and I just really want to congratulate each and every one of you for giving your all throughout this course and just being very focused on building a multicultural classroom for your diverse classroom. And I hope that you take away a bunch of wonderful techniques and methods and ideas from this course. And I hope that they are fruitful in each one of your classrooms. Just to let you know, at the end of this presentation, when I go through the assignments for this week, I will also be describing the assignments for your final paper as well as your weekly assignments. So stay tuned and make sure that you hear everything all the way through because I think it'll help you out tremendously. So let's go ahead and jump into Chapter 9, Activities and Resources for Multicultural Teaching, A World of Possibilities. So I'd like for you to begin by writing down the essential characteristics of a child-appropriate environment. Take a moment, think about it, and write some down. From there, let's try and establish guidelines to select developmentally appropriate multicultural materials. How would you find these resources? Moving on. Create examples of appropriate child activities for multicultural teaching. And this would be a great opportunity for you to once again start writing things down and think about them as we move through. Moving on, we're going to move into Chapter 10 now. A world of resources engaging families, friends, and the community. So, what I'd like for you to do is think about the needs for involving the family in multicultural early childhood programs. And while you're thinking about that, I want you to identify activities that involve the family and the community in the classroom. So, I'd like for you to write down some of these ideas right now. Describe the roles of families and the community in a multicultural program. When we think about family involvement and community involvement, what are the roles that we would have them play in our diverse classroom to help build that multicultural program? That's the ideas that I want you to think about. I kind of throw out some of these phrases and moments of pondering for you because as educators, we're not just there teaching subjects. I've said this from the very beginning, but my personal philosophy is that we're not teachers of subjects. We're teachers of human beings first and subjects second. So when we're teaching the human being, What are ways to build those relationships, to be able to engage our families, not just our students in our classroom, but our families of those students in our classrooms and the community? This is an effort to help build our future. And so when we work in early childhood education, especially, that's where we find the most opportunity to nurture um, these little lives. If you want to think of it this way, they're almost like seedlings, right? We plant our garden with these little seeds, and if we nurture that garden and we water it and we feed it, it will grow. But if we do not tend to that garden, it will dry up and wither away. So I really want you guys to think about ways of being able to engage your families in this educational experience, because that will help that child grow. So, with that being said, I'd like for you to reflect on ways in which teachers can develop family support for their multicultural programs. Take a moment to write these ideas down. And last but not least, moving into the final assignments for this week. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, so let's go ahead and just jump right in, because we do have some information to cover here. Of course, you have your typical discussion board, and each of you have been doing a beautiful job. Just remember, please, 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 to write at least 200 words in that initial posting, and post your word count at the bottom. That is very, very helpful. In the discussion board this week, to encourage young children to learn about one another, what items would you add to the block or to the dramatic play area, and why? So that'll be a fun activity to discuss. I think that whenever we think about our classroom and activities that we do in our classroom, it gives us an opportunity to use our imagination. And I am really excited about reading your postings in there. I know some of you have already posted already because you just were ready to jump on in. So good for you. Now let's talk about the written papers for this week, because you have two of them. Yep, you got two of them. So let's discuss the first one. The first written paper is your week 6 assignment. So your week 6 written assignment is to browse the Lakeshore Learning Store, and there is a link inside the assignment. Select 3 manipulatives for your diverse classroom. And just to give you an idea of what a manipulative is anything that you can manipulate with your hands. So any type of toy that is specifically for kids that they can manipulate with, like for example, Legos, counting bears, anything that they can use with their hands, beads, anything like that. There are also many different types of manipulatives, and you can even type in the word manipulatives in your search, and it will bring up a, a wide array of them. So you select 3, then you're going to write a paper analyzing your choices according to the criteria for multicultural education in your text and in this presentation, if you like. It's really important when you select these 3 manipulatives, it shouldn't just be an outline. This is an actual paper. So you're going to describe in your introduction the 3 manipulatives that you have chosen, and a brief thesis statement as to the reason behind why these are significant. And then in your body, I want at least a paragraph or 2 about each manipulative. Okay, so the first manipulative should have 1 to 2 paragraphs about it. Second manipulative, the same thing, etc., and so forth. And of course, you need to connect your analysis to research. So you can either use a text, or I'm sorry, you can either use a quote from your text, or you can use something from any of our past presentations that may have been helpful for you, or even video resources. There are some video resources this week in your module. So if you want to quote from there, that's fine as well. But make sure that you're connecting your analysis to research. That is a